Hi everyone, I'm Daniela. I'm a BCBA and I'm here with Caro.
Caro is an RBT studying for her exam, and she has been super, super kind to help us create a bunch of learning materials that we're really excited to share with you guys. So right now, we're having a feedback session uh, where I'm giving her feedback on everything she created, providing corrections and stuff like that to help her study for her exam. All right, go for it, Caro.
So we'll start with identifying the goals of behavior analysis as a science, which is the same as the fifth edition.
Perfect, very good. Prediction. Through repeated observations, we can identify the variables to help us predict behavior. Very good. Control. Once we can predict behavior through repeated observations, we manipulate the environment to change the behavior. Excellent.
Is a scenario.
Okay. Felicia is a 15-year-old female who has ADHD and autism spectrum disorder. You have been working on this case for 3 months, but your RBT tells you she is displaying new behaviors. She tells you that she wants you to observe during the next supervision session to confirm her observations.
And
Okay, so
this is
this,
how, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. You're going to show me the breakdown?
Yes, so the next slide is a breakdown of how we use description, prediction, and control.
Okay. During your next supervision, you observe your client and notice that she is engaging in mouthing behaviors. You describe it as Felicia sticking inedible tangibles in her mouth for more than 5 seconds and not swallowing. Prediction. Repeated observations show that she always starts mouthing inedible items an hour before lunch. You can hypothesize that she is possibly hungry. Control. Based on the data you have gathered, you will manipulate the environment by giving her a snack an hour before lunch to reduce the occurrences of mouthing. The mouthing occurrences. Very good. That's such a good example. So, and go back to it, please. You have here repeated observations show. So during these observations, would you gather any data to come up with your hypothesis? What are possible ways that you would take data to come up with this hypothesis?
Are you asking me, or
I'm asking you.
if I would take data during the prediction or description?
So during prediction, you say repeated observations show that she always starts mouthing inedible items. So how would you take data for the during this time?
So for this, I would take ABC data so I can see what happens before and after the behavior.
Okay, so ABC data, very good. And how would you determine that's happening before an hour before lunch? Because you're going to take ABC data that's going to tell you this happens before, this is the behavior, this is happening after. So here you're hypothesizing that it's possibly sensory, right? Because she's hungry, so she's putting stuff in her mouth. Would you use maybe a scatter plot to see when it happens more often?
Yes, breaking it down by 15 or 30-minute increments, I would.
Awesome. And that way your RBT show tracks that and you can see when it happens more often. And then, I love this example. Good job, Gato.
Thank you. Now we go to section 2, explain the philosophical assumptions underlying the science of behavioral analysis. First up is determinism.
Okay. Things that don't happen just because this assumption states that the universe is lawful and orderly. Example, every time you hear the doorbell, you check who it is. You don't check the door just because you want. Yeah, you only check if there's someone on the other side of the door if you hear something. Perfect.
Then in empiricism.
While observing, you leave your feelings and opinions out of what you see to remain objective by using one or more of your five senses. So, example, you were informed by other teachers that the teacher your client is going to next year is a real blank. You think that your client will do best with another teacher. What about instead of you think, you decide that your client would do best with another teacher?
Okay.
The school year starts and you watch how the teacher interacts with all the children. She is very sweet and even asks for your collaboration for your client to thrive in class. Okay.
That's why I put think, because you decide that your client is going to do best with another teacher, but that's not something that's within your control. So when the school year starts, you're watching how the teacher that you supposedly heard was a real beep. You watch, and she's actually very sweet and even collaborates with you on how to help your client thrive in the classroom.
So how about you decide that your client will do best with another teacher, but hold off on making any requests until you observe her directly. Awesome. You arrive for supervision and the caregiver tells you. So you arrive at your session, you arrive for supervision. Okay. Observe the session. You notice your client hasn't been drinking any water. The next day, you give your client a cup of water right when you arrive and take them to the bathroom an hour later. Your client releases urine into the toilet. The following day, you don't give them any water and your client doesn't go to the bathroom for the entire session. This supports that he needs to be given water for them to need to go. Awesome.
Experimentation.
To help us come to a determination, we need to perform an experiment or series of experiments by controlling and manipulating the variables that may be influencing the occurrences. Example, you arrive at your session and the caregiver tells you he doesn't want to use the bathroom, no matter the time. You take the opportunity to observe the session and you notice, observe the session or observe the client?
Well, I was thinking observe the session because you're looking at everything, not just the client.
Okay, so to observe,
The environment?
yeah, I guess session is fine to observe the session. Are you the BCBA or the RBT?
Yes, BCBA.
Okay, water, 1 hour later, P. Very good.
The replication going based off of the last example.
All right, replication. This involves the repetition of experiments. If you get the same results when you conduct the same experiment repeatedly, you have a higher chance of reliability. Example, the same scenario with the potty training, we replicate the same intervention we did with the RBT, but with the parents. Would you typically withhold water from a child?
No, because that's considered an unconditioned reinforcer.
Yep. All right, awesome. Parsimony. You rule out simple explanations before jumping into more complex or complicated explanations for the occurrence. You see light coming through the window and you think of a sunny day versus a cloudy day. Yes and no. Because parsimony is going to the symbols. It's like you see light coming in through your window and you think of a sunny day versus a alien ship coming towards you.
That would be a better example. Or I was thinking a sunny day versus like headlights, let's say, from a car.
Yeah, especially if you live on the second floor like I do.
Okay, then I'll have to change that to headlights.
Oh, yeah, thank you, baby. Philosophical doubt. Using an open mind, you question the truth of what is regarded as fact. When your client is crying when she is told to participate in PE, instead of assuming she's engaging in task refusal, you check her appearance and notice she has red eyes, is congested, and keeps sneezing. You ask your client how they are feeling, and they say they don't feel good. Very good. Don't jump to conclusions. Also okay. But could you make it more behavioral, the example?
Yeah, I could try, because I know that in the last example we used for section for 5th edition, we used puppies. So the puppies from Alaska, when they got, well, pit bull puppies got together with huskies, the ones that didn't have the fur that the huskies had didn't survive in Alaska. So they had to adapt through the evolutionary development.
Okay. Yeah. I think I like the puppy example better.
So put the puppy example back.
Yeah. I mean, this is a good example, but on to Jenny. Definition, this states
it's
that all
ontogeny.
life forms continue to evolve naturally through learning history. What happened?
I think it's ontogeny, but I could be wrong.
It probably is. I'm really bad at pronunciation. I think it is, you're right. Stacy takes her dog out on a walk every day at 3 p.m. This time their walk was done at 5 p.m. During their walk, a chihuahua runs towards them barking and trying to bite the dog's legs. To not have to encounter that interaction again, a new path was used during their walk. What example did we have here before?
For COVID, so before people used to say hi to each other by kissing on the cheek. Then COVID happened, everybody started wearing masks, which then turned into people just saying hi from a distance.
Okay. I think I like that example better.